Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our mentoring session for today. The theme of the mentoring session is what to look for in a country manager. So I'm really glad that we have here Gisele Hipólito with us. My name is Raquel Kibrit. I'm the CEO of Sterna International Business. And today we will be covering some aspects on what should you look for if you're going through an international expansion. What should you look in a country manager? So it's a pleasure to have you all here with us, and we'll go and start our mentoring session. I'm going to give a brief introduction. Gisele will head on and actually tell a little bit on the context of hiring a country manager and a little bit of the do's and don'ts of finding this very important person. And then we'll move on to a little bit more technical terms for this position, which is a very critical one for a company expanding internationally. So a little bit about myself. I'm an international strategist. I founded Sterna 7 years ago, and my specialization is actually working with international expansion. I've been a country manager myself a few times already, and I'm very glad to be here offering this practical knowledge to you all. Giselle, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. So thank you so much, Raquel. It's a pleasure to be here and share some knowledge with you. I have constructed my career around international business. I myself have hired some country managers along this way, and I'm specialized in export promotion and also have worked with attracting business to Brazil.
Fantastic. Thank you for being here with us today. It's
It's a
great to
pleasure.
have you.
Yeah.
So, a little bit about us and what we do. The Global Business Mentoring Hub for Startups is actually one of our initiatives from Sterna Group. So, Sterna is a group of three companies. The Global Mindset Academy, which supports professionals in training capability so that they can get the skills that they need to actually interact with the world and expanding their business. Sterna International Business is where we do our consultancy work for companies going international. And here we offer go-to-market studies, international expansion plans. We do international roadmaps for companies. So very um, relevant work for the planning stage of an international expansion. And then in the Country Manager Hub, we actually deliver the strategies that we designed for our clients. And here we've been fortunate enough to conduct some processes of expansion to Brazil, to Mexico, to Colombia, to the US, and some other countries. So, Giselle, can you take on from here?
Yeah, sure. So we are going to talk about a lot the role of the country manager choice. It is extremely important to understand before looking the qualities and tasks that your country manager needs to deliver to you, to look to the maturity of your company, your business, your service, or your product. Yes. Um, I myself have trained some companies that they export, but they are not known as exporters. It's very common that you have a website, you have a product, people from another countries buy your product, and but you don't see yourself as an exporter, and you don't have a business plan, you don't have an international view of your business. So before that, it's very hard to well select a country manager. So the first step to select a country manager is to look inside your company and understand this maturity. Is my company mature enough? Do I have an international business plan? Or if you are from Canada, from Europe, and you want to hire a country manager here in Brazil, do I know the market at a minimum, Or yes, I know the market, I understand the business, and I need somebody to sell for me. See, so I think the first scenario is to read the maturity of your company regarding that selection, regarding the country manager. Usually people want to sell more. Yes, of course, that's one of our main goals. But before selling, we need to have in place marketing, logistics, product development, and finance, the pricing, the accountability in place. So maybe you select a country manager just to touch the market for you. Yes, you want to hire a marketing study, or you want to promote your product to understand if your product or service needs adaptation to that market. Yes, or you just select a country manager to understand the logistics. Is it possible to export this product to that country? For example, I mentor last semester a company that produces, we call here in Brazil, Brazilian berry, which is the jabuticaba. It's a kind of fruit that only grows in Brazil. So we are a very large, the only one and a very large producer of jabuticaba. And this company was trying to understand how was possible to export Brazilian berry around. So first, is it possible? How is it possible? And then they will select a country manager that can understand regulations and rules of food. Yes, to put that product in other countries. You can go to the next. Yes. So now I'm going to make with you an exercise of soft power. I want you to close your eyes and realize the image that comes to your mind. I'm going to tell you 5 different places in the world. Okay? So let's do that. New York. So what do you understand about New York? Business, culture, places, kind of people, ambitions, challenges, opportunities. London, Frankfurt, Abu Dhabi, Cape Town. Next one, please, Raquel. So those are the 10th most influential countries in the world. Yes. And it is funny how you go further, you know less about those countries. Yes or no? Yes? If I say to you Botswana, yes, you probably have no image of that country at all in your mind. Next, Raquel. So it is important to understand macroeconomy to select a good country manager. Yes. For example, US international income is 13 times bigger than Brazilian national income. It's 1.5 bigger than China national income. It's 6 times bigger than German national income. So it's going to be extremely different to find a country manager in Brazil, in Argentina, in Uruguay, in Paraguay, in US, in China, or in Germany. Yes, it's another strategy you have to have in mind. For example, I worked for many years for the stationery business here in Brazil. In Brazil, we believed we were extremely large producers of notebooks. And there are 4 or 5 family companies. There are 3 or 4 family companies and one international company of notebooks in Brazil today. And they export to many countries. Their strategy to find a country manager in Central America is one country manager per region, because they are extremely small business for the Brazilian market. Yes. The strategy to find a good country manager in Argentina, Paraguay, Uruguay, Chile, Bolivia, Peru, it's one country manager per country. And they usually go with their brands. So they promote their brands, they partner up in that strategy. Many times they select importers that are also family owned. Sometimes they have small notebook factories, sometimes they don't have factories at all, but they understand the business. So to deliver a notebook, it's another product to compose their kits of products. So that's good for them. They introduce innovation on their portfolio. Yes. This stationary business in Brazil, they also export to US. There is totally different. There are very few, very large stationary places in US. And usually notebook, it's like a fishing to sell other products on this huge stationary stores. Yes. So they united themselves to be able to provide to one supplier, to one American supplier. So it's extremely important to understand how big your market is comparing to the market you want to achieve. Next, Raquel, please. So those are some other examples. Yes, the Brazilian economy is the size of California. The Australian economy is the size of Texas. And the Spanish economy is equal to the state of New York. Just some examples of how the strategy goes parallel to the size and the size of opportunities of each country. Next, please. Yes, and it is proven that your emotions many times decide how you're going to choose a country, how you're going to choose a country manager. So it's extremely important to understand facts and macroeconomy and behaviors and opportunities and challenges before making the selection. Yes. Next, please. Okay, so now I'm going to ask some questions, strategic questions that I think it's extremely important so to you have in mind. Yes, what are the characteristics of this country? And I have an example to give to you. When I worked in the printing industry, I worked with a very small and very large printing industry here in Brazil, and we exported service. Yes, it's a product service. So we printed on demand and exported printed material. We opened the US market. We opened Nissan at US Nashville. We talked with the US buyer, but we had to export to the US country manager. And his country manager was selected to be the country manager all over America. See, so what are the characteristics of this country? So, for example, the US country, if you want to select a country, if you want to achieve a very big brand there, you are probably going to achieve this big brand through their country manager because they don't really want to import much. Yes. How are the negotiations? Yes, here in Brazil, there are giant family business that nobody knows about, and they don't appear in any statistics as the more developed countries, I would say like that, as US, Canada, some countries in Europe. So it's different. Yes, it's personal. In US, price is king, delivery and quality is a given. They don't even think about of not having quality or the right time. So business is king, and then they build up a relationship with you. Yes, so it's extremely different. The kind of country manager you need for each country. Yes, what are the perceptions of quality? So some countries, for them, it's okay to have a better price and low quality. From other countries, it's impossible. Yes, Europe, it's very ESG driven. Some other countries are not. So this is something to consider. Yes, who are the segment leaders? And then I will jump for your role in selecting a country manager. It's extremely business oriented that you are going to be the director of this country manager. You are going to study the market. You are going to select your products and services regarding the best ones to be in that country. You're going to do the business plan alone or together with this country manager. And the strategy, in the strategy, it's important to design the goals and the results. So for example, I don't know anything about this country. I did a briefly study. I want to enroll in this country. So that's going to be the country manager first task. I need this study, this chart of opportunities and challenges so I can decide if I'm going inside the country or not. If you are more mature, you're going to drive a 3-year plan and say, let's study the market, let's adapt to my product, and then in 3 years or in every year, I expect this kind of results. And then you can agree some agile points to adjust the strategy. Yes. And going back to the country manager, does he or she represent other companies? What are the companies? How long do they represent them? Who are their customers? Yes, what is the product mix? I think that's a very good strategy. So he or she has a lot of products similar to yours, and you can be an innovation on their portfolio. Okay. Um, what's the scope of the operation? How does she or he deal with competing products? Yes. Does this country manager work for products that compete with your product? How is going to solve this? For example, the company that we export the printed material, they have a printed machine, but just for small jobs. So it was not a really competition, but we only understood that when you flew from Brazil to the plant to understand their business. So their business was not printing, was writing manuals, which is different from the business we had here in Brazil. And how much time has this country manager to develop your product, your service, or your brand? So for now, I leave it with you, Raquel.
Fantastic. Thank you for this introduction, Giselle. So, moving on how who is the country manager and what is the role? So, Giselle actually raised here very important questions on how do you select a country manager and the importance of having a plan in place. Uh, the plan is probably the core aspect that will allow the country manager to know first what's expected of him or she, and then also um, what is the guidance that they should follow to implement the plan. In some cases, companies hire the country manager, and the country manager is expected to write the plan themselves. Okay. In other times, um, the plan already comes from the headquarters, or sometimes a consultancy is hired to do this go-to-market plan. Regardless of who does it, it's really important to have guidance in place. So there is a clear vision on what is to be achieved. Okay. So the country manager usually has a very an entrepreneur profile. Okay, is somebody that is hired on the pre-operational stage of the company to set up a new business venture. Okay, and this business venture is usually connected to a territory, as Giselle was explaining. Why is this person so important? Because this person will be your boots in the ground. The person is responsible for delivering everything that the vision of the leaders of the company expect from us from that market. And it's usually based on a single country, as Giselle said, or it could be uh, directed to a region. So if the markets are really small, there is a sense that those markets could be consolidated under a single leadership. If not, then you should have a country manager dedicated to every single market that you go, if it's big enough for one. Okay. And then, of course, like the leadership profile, the guidance and directions to the team, like this person is going to be the first boots to the ground of your company in a new territory. So they will be responsible for setting up the basis for growth for your business, right? So we're going to explore a little bit on the roles that the country manager has, but it should be this person usually is well connected within the network that you're expecting and promote growth, manage crisis, and bring creative solutions and monitor performance. So this is your first boots on the ground. This is the person that will make you grow. This is the person that will actually establish the new processes to be connected to other operations that you have across the world and will be able to actually make our business flourish in a new market. Okay. This is one of the burning questions that we receive. Should you hire a country manager or a sales manager? And what's the difference here? Okay. So Giselle talked a lot about the business development aspect that country managers can have. Okay. But it's not always a given that the country manager is expected to run sales. Okay. Sometimes a good sales manager is not really a country manager. And do you want to take away sales time to do management work? So this is a big conflict that you should address. So there are a few technical skills and soft skills here on the country manager. We do have a profile sheet on the most popular skills that a country manager should have, and we will share this with you, okay? So you can download your job description and target what is the priority for your business. But usually, as a professional with more than 10 years of professional experience, the person has a bachelor's degree in business administration, international relations, economics, or related field. They have a postgraduate degree in sales, finance, project management, or similar fields. It has in-depth knowledge of the region, so it's usually someone local from that region so that they are fluent in the language and they understand the business culture and they can bridge the gaps between the headquarters and your target market. Now, this is key. Do not underestimate these gaps when you start the implementation of your international expansion. Okay, timings are different, offers are different. There's a lot of localization that needs to be in place so that you can reach growth stage in a new market. And this person is the person who will be able to guide you through this process and make sure that your growth is long term. Usually, if the person has experience living abroad, then that also helps within the flexibility that it brings in understanding different mindsets. There is familiarity with the essential software and applications that the headquarters uses and will implement in the new target market. And there is experience in general management. People underestimate how much admin work also goes into the setup of a new business. So, of course, that each country has a different bureaucracy, but beyond bureaucracy, there's accountants, there's service providers. Like sometimes you hire other people to do your social media work or your accountancy or your lawyers, or you want to hire additional team working full time for you. Then there's a lot of elements related to HR and hire and fire. There's product development and product localization. There's pricing. There's the business development that should happen and all the networking. So there's just a lot of aspects that should be considered in this country manager role. And to be clear, even though there are profiles and there are people that are highly skilled to actually deliver this sort of work, you need to understand which is your priority that you want to have under this person responsibility and what would you like to outsource to other people to actually deliver. So if the country manager, you would like the country manager to do business development work as a priority, then it's important to actually consider someone as an outsourcing, probably to do the admin work related to the setup of your company so that it doesn't take away time. Or it can be the opposite. Okay, you can have the country manager hire a sales team to actually grow your pipeline of project while they actually take care of the setup of the operation, the hire and the fire, the management, the product localization, and other related aspects. So the profile of the person that you look for should match your priority, okay, when you're growing your business. And of course, all the soft skills are highly important. So networking, communication, interpersonal skills, written and verbal communication, strategic thinking. This person should promote opportunities for growth, manage crisis, and a leadership profile. So, who is the best person to achieve it? So, I really like the 16 personality types. I hope you've taken this test yourself as a professional. It helps you understand a lot about who you are and what you bring to the table in a new company. If you work for a new company, if you are a country manager yourself, or if you're looking to hire a country manager, these are the most popular types to hire a country manager. Okay. So the logistician is a very interesting one, very practical, very fact-minded individual, kind of analytical, which can add value to your business. So if you're hiring someone with the profile of the setup of the operation, or you're looking more at product localization, then this is a very good profile to hire. An executive is someone that actually is an excellent administrator. An entrepreneur is smart, energetic, and very perceptive people. Again, just multiple skills here are embodied in an entrepreneur. A virtuoso, uh, which actually can solve many questions and bring many tools to the table. So this might actually add value to your business. A protagonist, very charismatic person that connects and relates to a lot of people. So in branding and building new networks, this is actually quite relevant. And the commander, which is the bold, imaginative, and strong-willed leaders. Okay. And they will make it work. So again, like if you're looking to hire someone, I invite you to actually have that person take this test and see what kind of profile that they have as something that can be quite enlightening when hiring a country manager. So let's see a little bit on the contract. So let's say you're looking for a country manager, you found a person that you could trust to actually take on this project and open a new market for you. What are the usual negotiations that take place when you're hiring a country manager? So first is if the contract is going to be hybrid, if it is full-time, part-time, if it is in presence, if the country manager is located in your target region. So let's say if you're coming to Brazil and you want someone to be based in São Paulo or in Rio because of your market and where most people are, then you should target looking for people in this region specifically. Or if it's somebody that can be because their market, like let's say you work with agriculture and agriculture is pretty much everywhere across the country, this person can actually be based in another state of Brazil with greater cultural footprint, then that might make more sense than having someone actually based in São Paulo. If this person is going to hire that as an employee or as a service provider, most companies choose to hire country managers as service providers instead of employees. They go to hire employees as a country manager if the company is already registered in the country. So that will empower the company to actually have full time with all the benefits, the labor benefits of the country that is in place as an employee. So that's an option too. Sometimes the country manager takes on the role of the legal representative itself. So if it's a new region for you and you don't have a legal entity already registered, but you will be setting that up and you want the country manager to actually lead that process, then sometimes they can also become your country manager and your legal representative. Or you can appoint like a lawyer as a legal representative for your company too. Usually these roles are considered separately in an expansion. Sometimes the companies also offer other sorts of benefits based on performance. So sometimes it can be stock options or it can be other bonuses types depending on performance, but there can be a variable pay here linked to the country manager role depending on performance and growth. And I think that was it for this mentoring session. Again, it's a very unique role that we play being country managers, and it's really important to hire that person. Uh, this person is seriously critical for any uh, international expansion. So I really appreciate your time that you came here with us today. We can now have some time to open for questions from the audience. If you guys have any questions, I will also leave here on the chat our next mentoring session and also a link for our free mentoring session, individual mentoring session that we offer to all those participants on our series here. Thank you, guys. Are there any questions? Renee, Marcela, Ricardo.
Or maybe experiences that you would like to share.
Okay. I don't have any specific question, but it was interesting because sometimes I feel like that I act as a country manager, even though I'm a business consultant to my clients. Um, and many, like I work, as I said at the beginning, setting companies in Canada, and now we're expanding to the US. And I can see like a lot of my clients misunderstand like the amount of work they will have to face once they decide to internationalize their companies. So we help them with structure pitch deck, business plan, incorporate their companies in Canada and the US. But then after, like, which is this is what is the basics, let's say, after they have like a huge amount of work, and then sometimes they do not know how to proceed. So it's a very needed person in the team for sure, a country manager.
Yes, and this has relation to the maturity of the business, yes, because that's a very common. There is, yeah, there is. That's a very common ride. Yes, you hire one person to open the business, and when the business begins to be successful, it's another composition, and other people are required to make it grow or
Yeah,
diversify.
yes. Yeah, so it's just a comment, not a question
That's
itself.
great, Marcelo.
Thank you.
Ricardo, Antonio, any questions? Pierre?
No, all good
Yeah.
from my side right now. Thank you very much for the information. I will probably be in touch with you by email or on LinkedIn for anything else comes up.
Okay, good luck in your business, Pierre. Looks very
Thank you very
promising.
much. We are indeed, obviously, that's why I joined this because I think we are looking to get a station in Brazil since that is our main target market and we want to help there
Mhm.
as we're based in Amsterdam right now. So I definitely think I know we will be in touch on this.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Okay, guys. So I think we can wrap up. It was a pleasure having you all here. Please join us on our next mentoring session about visas. And we are looking forward. I posted here the link for those of you if you want to register on our next one, where we will cover the main visas for entrepreneurs going international. So really looking forward to seeing you, and thank you for attending this session. See you in the world.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.